ago. It's the conversation. Yeah. Take your mind different places. Now you know. So yeah.
So yeah. Oh my gosh. We got J Rose on the podcast. This is long awaited and I want to just say thank you. Hold on, my hair's a mess going crazy. Let me just get this shit straight.
No,
yours on point. I like yours. You look like you're ready for more in like some Japanese, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
the weather's crazy, so you know I had to.
I need to start off and let you guys know that J Rose is a very amazing individual. She started doing poetry at a very, very young age, 15, 16 years old, right? Mm-hmm. And then started, what I admire about her is that she did things by parts. And I don't want to hype you up too much, but I took a step back and I realized, holy shit, she did this so right. By first starting off with creating and being vulnerable enough to share your poetry.
Right.
Then getting onto the stage, getting comfortable with releasing like stuff that you feel is good and connect and relatable to people. And then you were like, nah, I'm not just gonna do this shit by myself. I got people and I know people that can link up and do this shit with me. And you made a whole organization.
Right.
And you took that to across state lines. Mm-hmm. And this all sprouted from words that came within, words that needed to be released out.
Right,
that
part.
What gave you, or what do you think? Some people think it's like God-given, or some people think it's cultivated. Mm. What do you think it is?
Well, first, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and share parts of my story in a really cool way. I love how you ask questions and the things that you dig into, so I'm excited. So yeah, where do I think it came from? I think it was, there was this God-given, there's this gift, I guess, that, I was born with, a purpose that I was born with. And it just is all alignment. I was looking for something to find myself again. I had felt very lost. I'm a mom. At the time, I was in a relationship. I had been writing for a really, really long time. But I still felt like I lost myself being a partner, being a mom. So I was like, who am I? I was like, I love writing. Let me try to get on stage. So it was, part of it was my talent, the natural talent that I always had for writing. And like you said, putting myself in a vulnerable space to share that. But I kind of, I jumped off a cliff with it because, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to perform and then get comfortable performing and then start doing events. It was like, I wanted to host an event. Oh, shit, that means I got to perform. So I ended up, having to get on the stage because I wanted to host a poetry slam. Even though I had already been writing poetry, I was on social media sharing. I was more like a page poet, so I would share my written work. I wasn't, recording anything or on stage or anything like that. So I already knew a few other poets. So I was like, oh, I want to do a slam. Anybody down? And people were like, oh, I'll do it. I'll compete. And I was like, I didn't want to compete. I just wanted to host it. So then I realized, I'm like, oh shit. I mean, I guess I have to do a poem. And I was like, wait, okay. And that's really how it started. I completely jumped off a cliff with it. And it was, the first event was extremely supported. I mean, so many people came out. It was a great event. We had all different types of arts going on, live art. This guy burned the painting live. It was crazy.
What?
For a first event, it was holy shit, this is
it sparked.
Yeah,
interest.
It did. Yeah. And then I just started performing more, connecting with more artists, and I was like, you know what, I need to do this more often. I need to provide space for people. And then that all evolved from me just having epiphany about what my purpose is. And that happened years later after I've been performing for a while. This epiphany happened 5 years ago.
Did it line up from that line that I love so much? in a way.
Yes, actually.
Shout out to J Rose, the amazing poet.
It does align with that. I was going through again like another difficult time in my life, and
Do you want to say the line?
yeah, it's the there's no such thing as one flower in the garden. So I realized that I had to understand, what do I do really good, but like organically without even trying, naturally, right? Part of that was, okay, I'm really good with people. I'm good at networking. I'm good at connecting people with each other. I'm good at making people feel really comfortable to be themselves. So I was like, what can I do with all those like little superpowers, you know? And then it was just like the freaking clouds parted and the angels was like, yeah, like all of it, right? The lights, the shining from the stars. And it was like, holy shit, my purpose is to provide space for people and create a safe space to cultivate community, to cultivate growth.
That's a good question. And I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no,
what is a safe space?
Right, that. I feel that a safe space is a space where people can feel, like I said, like be themselves, but also be able to like advocate for themselves. So like if something feels uncomfortable, if something is bothering them, or it doesn't feel right, like there's a space for them to be able to speak up and say that, yo, I didn't like this. This shit made me feel uncomfortable. Like, what can we do about this? You know? Sometimes people have these safe spaces and things do go on, but nobody is comfortable enough to speak up on it. So then now there's this like underlining unsafe safe space, you know, where for me it's like I try to like let people know I'm going to call you out on your shit if you're going to be on this platform disrespecting anybody. We're not going to tolerate anybody being disrespected. The whole point is for people to come together, be themselves, share their art, be seen, be heard, not be judged. You know, I mean, you know, like the open mic scene, sometimes people pull up and it might not be like some fire shit right away, you know, people that maybe still need to develop their art, but nobody's there to be like, boo, you know, like tomatoes. Like,
Nah, they're just waiting for the next one to go.
Yeah, they're just like, okay, like, hey, man, you know, and for me, I think I take this a step above and beyond as a curator and a host because it's important also for me to like provide some type of mentorship to the community. So like when an artist comes up on the open mic, I give them feedback right away, but I don't be like, yo, your shit was whack. Like, let me tell you how to make it better. No, I ask them like, is it okay if I provide you with some professional feedback on your performance? Like, are you comfortable with that? You know, I don't just like force people to take my advice. You know what I mean? So if they're like, yeah, sure, give me, tell them like, don't do this and you need to do this and work on your writing, take some writing workshops. You know?
Yeah, see what works better for them at the time. Sometimes people get caught up in their ego or what actually, you know, will actually separate them, right? Because if they let go of that, then they'll be able to separate themselves far beyond it. Did you ever get caught up in your ego?
I'm in my ego, I don't know. I've always welcomed feedback. I've always asked for feedback from like people that I look up to. I mean, I'm sure there's a few times I was gassed because I'm like, I know I killed it, maybe I didn't, you know? But I don't know. I feel like I've always been like a really humble person. Even though I have like confidence in myself, there's a way to like be confident and know that you, like, I know I'm talented. Like, I know my pen is solid. I know this, you know, but that's me believing in myself. It's not being cocky or being an asshole about it. It's I believe in my pen. I believe in like this is a gift that I have. Like I impact people with my words. So I don't think I've ever like had to have like an ego check. I've definitely like needed help and advice like in this journey where like
what was that and who did you get that from?
I love that question. So shout out to Urban Hibaro.
Shout out.
who gave me one of the first biggest pieces of advice that I ever received as a host and a curator. This is when I first started hosting open mics. I used to host an open mic in the Bronx at South of France. And I remember there was these two guys that came in to sign up for the open mic, and they were rappers. And they came, and it's like one guy did his song, and then he invited his guy up to do the song, and then they're like trying to get like a third song in, and you know, that's not how the open mic.
Oh, they lapsed the time?
Yeah, like that's not how the open mic was supposed to run, right? It was supposed to be one song, you know? So it took me like a lot to kind of get control of the stage again. You know, they were like really assholes, to be honest. And I was new to this, and Urban Heat was there, and he's like a vet. He's been, you know, was down with like Capicu, like their whole like spoken word organization, poetry organization, and they do a lot more other stuff as well. So he's been around for a while. So at the end of the show, at the end of the event, at the end of the night, I was like, can you give me some feedback on, you know, how I did tonight? You know, I asked for it, and he was like, don't ever let somebody come and take over your stage ever again. He said, you treat that stage like it's your house. He's like, would you ever let somebody walk into your crib and disrespect you like that? And I was like, hell no. And he was like, that's how you have to treat the stage. Don't let nobody come into your crib and disrespect you.
That's fact.
And I was like, say less. And yeah, I never let that happen again, you know? And I think that learning that early on in my journey was a game changer for me, because it really made me step onto that stage real confident and real like, I'm going to treat this like this is my house, and I'm going to treat it like these people are my guests.
I like that.
You know?
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was great. Great advice.
Well, when did you come up with My Crumbled Thoughts? Why was, you know what I mean? Like, I like that handle. I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, oh shit, it's kind of like an oxymoron.
Right.
You know? Because you have such potency behind your words,
right.
But then you're saying it's just My Crumbled Thoughts.
It's just pieces.
It's just like, it's a little bit. I'm not giving you the whole thing, but.
Yo, you know what?
What?
I honestly don't remember like why. It was like I was probably high as shit. It was like I need to I was like, I need like a cool poetic like handle, cuz I had been sharing some poetry on like a private Instagram page, you know. And this was like right before I started hosting and performing. And then I was like, you know what? I really need to separate my personal life, you know, Jasmine, from Yea J Rose on social media. So I decided,
I'm sorry about that.
Ooh.
She has somebody that she don't like. Hey, mama.
That's
relax.
the person. We don't like you.
You want me to edit that out? You want me to
No,
keep it?
you can
want me
leave
to keep it in there?
It's all right. Tundra, you scared me, but you know what? Thank you.
Powerful, you know?
Thank you.
But
Well, I could tell.
now you feel
know, with
protected
dogs,
though, right?
Yeah, for sure. You know, with dogs, you could tell the way they bark, like if it's somebody they don't like, if it's just them being playful. Like I had a dog, and I remember like I always knew if he was barking at like the mailman, which he just knew all the time, or like somebody who never came to the door before. He would get like more like
aggressive.
Yeah, he'd be like who's outside? Like,
you bringing down them octaves.
you know, like chill. So I decided, I was like, you know what? Let me create another page, you know, and that's where I'll post my poetry. And I was like, what can I name it? I was like, I need some poetic shit, you know. And then I was like, you know, I had this line in a poem that was something like, try to unravel the wreckage of my crumbled thoughts. You know what I mean? Like some random line. And I was like, oh, my crumbled thoughts. I was like, yeah, I'll do that.
Right.
And then I stuck with it. Yeah. And, you know, I've had people try to convince me to change it for branding reasons, right? And I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I don't want to change it.
It's nice.
No.
Yeah, I feel like there's something to it where it's. I look at it like So Yeah. So Yeah is almost like a. It's an expression, also words that can mean so much and so little at the same time.
Something's coming after that.
Yeah, so yeah.
So yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Exactly. And my crumble thoughts, I feel like it works so perfectly for like how you also deliver your poetry. You're not boring. You're not saying too many words. I feel like you find the balance. It's the same thing when I started making my music, trying to find the balance to. I used to want to say a lot and a little.
Right.
And then it began to click for me that I could say less and mean a lot more with it.
Just be like strategic with your language.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
When did you find that in you?
Oh gosh. I think that came from me seeing so many other, I'm around poets all the time. Like, I've probably seen thousands of people perform in like the last 5 years that I've been really hosting and curating events. Because I was doing virtual shit too during the pandemic, like every Friday. You have people from all over the world coming. So I've seen thousands of people perform. And it comes from like me understanding like what I want to get from a poet. Like, I want to be able to hear a poet and understand what they're saying, like understand the concepts that they're trying to like align with and create with their wordplay. Like, I also have a very deep understanding of poetry from a technical aspect. So, and I'm super intentional. Like, before I write a poem now, I already know this is gonna this is for the stage. I don't think I have written a poem that was not meant to be performed in like the last 5 years. Everything I've written in the last 5 years has always been with the intentions that this is gonna be shared with people. I'm sharing this with the community. So yeah, I don't think I've written like just for myself in a long time.
Wow.
I don't know why, but I just feel like, I don't know. I have a lot to say, and I want people to know that they're not alone.
Can I give you my opinion?
Yeah.
All right. So I feel like for real. I feel like there's levels to the understanding of art. So in your world of poetry, you started off, through your journey, you learned to cultivate, you learned to present, you learned to host. You learn to bring together. What you're also doing is observing that whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
So what happens? It's almost kind of like a director and a producer.
Right.
They see visions far beyond the minuscule scale, and they want to create a movie.
Right. I want to create experiences for people. Like, I want people to come to my events and be like, yo, that was an amazing night. From the talent to the host to like whether I'm hosting or not, if it's something that I curated or my name is on it, I want people to be like, this was dope. Like, everything J Rose puts her name on is fire. You have to go.
Right.
I don't want to miss this.
Yeah. And it sounds like you understand time too, right? Because, and sorry to cut you off. I don't want to cut you off because like
good.
The thing is that like it's kind of taking me back to what you were saying with the guys that didn't understand and respect the time of things.
Right.
What they failed to realize is that they might have made themselves look worse than what they could have been if they just kept it short.
Right. I mean, they looked like they didn't care.
Right.
Like it was selfish. They didn't care about the other artists that were there that are supposed to have time.
But what I'm meaning to say with this is that also the importance of time, right? And the importance of the time slots. I'm sure you schedule the way you present the show through time slots in order to have that experience that people are looking for.
Right. I think also I come from a professional background of human resources. So like I have a really deep understanding of like the importance of organization, the importance of like structure, and having things in place, like things that are on autopilot for you. So like I use a lot of those things that I learned and skills that I developed being like in the HR world before I walked away from, working for anybody else, and started working for myself. Like I brought all of that with me. So it's like I have like that professional like background, I have the creative background, I have just understanding my purpose from like a spiritual level. Like all of that is encompassed in like what I do, the decisions that I make, how I move. Like every move I make is intentional. Like, every stage I'm on, there's a purpose for me being on that stage. Sometimes I'm well aware of the purpose. Other times it could just be that somebody in that room needs to hear what I had to say. I had a feature last night, and like there were people that were like, yo, you had me in my seat crying. Like I was not expecting that, and I love that, like I'm like, I made you feel something so deeply that like you physically responded to like those feelings,
right,
just from my words. It made me it just reminds me of how powerful words are. That's why they call it spelling. We cast spells with our words, and I have that understanding. Like even lately, the work that I've been putting out, my writing has gotten like exponentially better. And I took like a few years off of writing. I wasn't really writing. I was focused on this platform, community, hosting, creating space for others. It was not about me at all. I wasn't even featuring or performing like that because I had my own stage. So if I wanted to share some shit, I just do it at my open mic. I wasn't pressed to be on anybody else's stage. I was focused on creating space for everybody else. But in those 4 years, I saw so many people perform. Like all that inspiration I was just soaking that shit in subconsciously.
Yeah.
Not even knowing, like inspiration, like just stuff that people influence my pen. And I didn't start seeing it until when I started writing again. It's because I made a conscious decision, a purposeful, intentional decision to get back on the stage, to remind motherfuckers that J Rose is a poet too. I do this shit. And when I started writing for that, like I'm like the last 5 pieces, maybe 5 or 6 pieces I've written, I'm like, yo, that's some of the best shit I've ever written.
And was that one of the clicks that went viral?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, all right. Because I was about to say, that shit was fire.
For sure.
And I think that video, again, it just connects with what I was complimenting you before, was that, like, how you present your work is relatable, and you're not saying too much.
Right.
Each word
right.
is almost like, Does that make sense? So then, where like a person says or I would say because I didn't have to say it. You said it for me.
Right. I think that also, like, I'm not getting on that stage to make everybody feel like I'm smarter than them, you know. And I feel like some people try to like do that with their writing. You know, they try to like show how smart and how much vocabulary they know. You know, where it's like I create this balance of like, I might say something that a word that you may not know, may not fully understand, but like if you're paying attention to the rest of the sentence, you'll understand the context of what I'm saying. Right. You know what I mean? You'll be like, oh, because the way I said it, you know, or the line before or the line after, you're going to understand it. It's like, I feel like that's why I've won slams too, because there's been people that are like really, really great writers, but like I deliver it and I package it in a way where like everybody knows. I do my poetry for 8th graders and adults, and everybody still can understand it. Right. You know what I mean? It's not dumbed down for anybody, and it's not overly like pompously like super intellectual. Right. Like it's like, nah, I want everybody to feel me. You know what I mean? This ain't just for you gotta have a fucking 18 masters in an Ivy League college to understand my shit. Like, no.
Right.
She just wants attention.
She always wants attention. I give her attention all the time.
She must be a Leo.
She is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, wow.
I feel you, girl.
Yeah, she was born August 13th.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's fucking hilarious. Yo, you're funny as fuck for that one. I might just keep that little.
Keep that.
Not the whole thing, because she can be getting annoying.
I know, she's extra.
Yeah, nice nails too, by the way.
Oh, thank you. My nails, bro. I gotta get my nails done this week, so.
Oh, word?
I'm trying to hide.
Oh, come on.
The broken ones.
Do you do the lashes too? You on that game?
No.
You're not about that life.
The nails is like the girliest shit about me.
Yeah?
That's all you're getting. Maybe
That's it?
I'll wear heels and a dress and stuff. I
Right.
get like that. I'll dress up girly. Like I don't mind
Right.
dressing up and being all like, super in my feminine, divine energy. But yeah, that's the nails. I don't do the lashes. I don't really wear a lot of makeup. I'll do makeups once in a while. Like,
Right. Depending if you're going out, someone's taking you out, and you'll be like, all right.
If that, like, maybe if I'm going to like a special event.
What is a special event for J Rose? Like, what does a guy have to do to take you out? I want to know.
Wow, that's a loaded question. Shit. Let me see. I would have to say like be assertive. And like be like I like to be led. I'm a boss in a lot of aspects in my life. My career, my artistry, as a mom. I run the show in a lot of avenues. So like
You wear many hats.
yeah, and it's exhausting having to be the boss all the time, make all decisions, plan everything. So I think like where a lot of men fail is like they'll try to shoot their shot, but there's never a like, so what are you doing on this day at this time? I'd like to take you here. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, so what you want to do? When am I going to see you? And da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I don't know when to answer that question. I have like 5 features this week. I teach at Rikers once a week. I teach in the Bronx twice a week. Like my schedule is crazy, but I think that a lot of guys don't hit me with the, hey, pick a day out of these 3 days. Which one of these days are you free and what time? And plan it. And it's like it's always, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And I'm just like.
I do want to put a pin in this conversation only because I want to go into your work in Rikers. But I do want to go back into that conversation because it's interesting. But, like, seriously, you went into teaching adolescent youth in Rikers because you knew that these kids got something to say, too.
Well,
or
I actually... I ended up working in there through, shout out to Messiah Ramkasoon.
Shout out Messiah.
Listen, sometimes like opportunities are just brought to you, right? But it's like because I'm doing the work, because I'm being consistent, people see how I move, and then when opportunities arrives, I'm the person they think about to offer this opportunity to. So Messiah called me one day, like maybe almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and was like, hey, I have this opportunity. He works for an organization called Youth Justice Network. And what they do is they provide resources for youths when they come out of Rikers, whether they need help finding housing, maybe getting medical insurance, job placement, a whole bunch of different things. So they provide all these resources, but part of their work is also helping them with like their legal stuff, connecting them with, the right legal advice, their case management, social workers, and all of that work actually begins inside. So part of that is also them providing some type of programming for them while they're inside. So he offered me, opportunity to come in and run some writing workshops with the young women, ages 16 to 24. And, part of it is for me to kind of establish that first relationship with the youth and the organization, of seeing if they're, who's getting out soon, letting them know about Youth Justice Network and connecting them with somebody that one of their representatives, depending on the borough that they live in, you know. So yeah, he asked me if I would do it, and you know, I said, yeah, of course, like hell yeah. And I started going there. It's been about a year and a half. I go there every week, and I meet with 2 different units every time I go for like a month, and then we do like an open mic for them at the end of the month, so they get to share what they write. And it's always really funny because, I go there and it takes a couple weeks for them to warm up to me. So, like, at first they're like, who the hell is this happy ass girl with fire ass nails? Like, because they, of course, they like, I love your nails. But they be like, who is she, this loud ass poet over here? They don't really, some of them participate and want to write. Others are they just want to listen. And then like a couple weeks more, more people may write, or, they're listening. I can't tell what's going on sometimes. Like the girls that are tapped in, I know that they're tapped in, but the girls that are like kind of just around, I don't know if they're, if they're feeling me. Not if they're feeling me, they do love me. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they're tapped in, right? But then when it's time for the open mic, everybody got a poem. Oh. And I'm like,
everyone got something to say when there's a stage involved, right? And a mic.
So I'm like, yo, where was you for the last 3 weeks? Why you didn't share that poem with me last week? I asked you if you finished that poem. You said, yo.
That's funny as hell.
It's mad funny. And then they go up on that stage and they'll be like, oh, I never really write until J Rose started coming, and like, ooh, that makes me feel like I'm making an impact.
You are, definitely.
Because the stuff that they share, what they write about, they're telling their story, and these open mics are an opportunity for them to have a voice, and I send out an email to the staff in Rikers, and I invite them to come and support the young women, because they need to hear what these young women have to say, because they're constantly not listening to what they want, or things that they have to say, their stories. So it's
how do you cut out the bullshit from like the genuine outreach
in there?
Yeah.
As far as how they receive me.
As far as how they deliver their work, do you be like, oh, okay, you talking too much bullshit right here? Are you capping? Or, you know what I mean?
No, I don't. Some of them are really good writers. Yeah. So like those girls, I'll sit with and be like, yo, here's a prompt. Try write about it from this perspective. Like,
oh, so you do try to challenge them?
Yeah, all the time. We do activities the whole time. We're doing prompts. They're there. I'm performing for them. Sometimes we do self-reflection prompts.
What do you perform? Are you anything different from what you normally perform, or is it?
No, I share everything that I would do on a stage for a featured performance. They've heard.
And that's down the line, right? Because you performed in colleges, you performed in the New York Poets Cafe, you performed out of state. So like it doesn't down the line, right? It doesn't matter where you are exactly. You're still gonna deliver how you are.
You're gonna get J Rose,
and that's why people get that good connection no matter where you at.
I guess, yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, I've met a lot of people, especially during we all connected with a lot of people during the pandemic. So I've met a lot of those poets in real life now, within the last 3 years. And I always hear the same thing. They're always like, yo, you are the same person in person that you show yourself to be on social media. And, a lot of people are like surprised, or like not surprised. They're like, I kind of expected it, but I wasn't sure, because sometimes people, you meet them in person after you knew them for mad long on IG or whatever, and then they're like weird. You're like, why are you so weird? You're mad cool online. Like,
I feel that.
Like, why you like this in real life?
Yeah.
Like, but
that's
nah,
nice.
People like, yo, you're the same person, same personality. Like, I'm like, what you see is what you get. Like,
well, I think that's also like, you could like, all right, I saw that from when I first met you and just started following you. I feel like, your approach to There was a change though. There was a change that happened. You're still doing the same thing, but there was a change that happened. And I don't know what exactly that is. Maybe someone told you a little cheat code or some shit. But like there was a change that happened because I did notice that like, and I do the same thing too. Like where you know I get on I'll do a post. You do more the IG lives, which I think the IG lives are definitely helping. Was helping you too. Because what you do in your IG lives is what I would be doing in my stories, for examples, which is like, all right, this is me right now.
Right,
like
right.
you in your car, you know, your hair's all boom, and it's just like, look, I'm getting myself together, but hear me out.
Listen,
you know
we're going to eat breakfast. We're going to talk about this.
Right. It's very, very, very close. So, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I just need to do a little bit more some IG lives. Or some
For
shit.
sure.
Like,
I mean, anybody that does social media marketing or like teaches about, knows about, how to, work the algorithms or whatever the hell that is, all that good stuff.
She act like she don't know.
I know. You can subscribe and find out.
You heard?
Like you going on IG Live is a big help, because even if not a lot of people are watching while I'm live, because sometimes it'd be like 2 people watching me, and I'm still talking like if there's 30 people in the room, you know what I mean? Like, and then I'll post it, and then it'll get like 1,000 views. People will watch it later on and be like, oh shit, she was on live. What was she saying now? I know she was saying some funny shit. Like, and I like doing it like that because it's not broken up into little pieces like in the stories. But I like doing it like that because I feel like there's no, like, I can't edit that.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I say something crazy or something crazy happens, I gotta just get off the live and not post it and delete it. Like,
you can't AI this.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I like that it's like, it's raw. It's like, yo, we are here. I can't edit this. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I choke, you gonna hear me choking. Like, if I laugh and a booger comes out my nose, y'all gonna see that shit. And, so I like it. People get to get an opportunity to just rock with me for a little bit in my natural habitat.
Do you get to have this experience when you're doing your showcases with individuals? Do you do the IG Live, like, when you're at a show? Or
No.
do you ever think about doing something live in that aspect of things?
I have tried it here and there, like going live while a show is happening. Honestly, I feel like, if you want to experience it, you got to pull up.
Right. Okay. Hell yeah.
Pull up.
The only reason why... All right, so I love comedy, right?
Yes.
And there's this series on YouTube that I follow called Kill Tony. And what they do is essentially they just get amateur comedians to pull up and do a 1-minute stand-up. And whether they're good or bad, it's funny as fuck because like they like flame on them for being bad or they flame on them for being good and being funny.
Right.
Regardless. And that whole thing is a podcast.
Oh,
but
wow.
it's also a show that people go to in Houston, Texas.
Oh, kind of like with a live audience and all that. Yeah.
And it's a vibe. Have you ever thought about something like that with your shows? I
have some stuff that I'm thinking about doing that's not necessarily shows that will involve some type of like virtual aspect to it. But I don't know. I'm not sure where I stand on that because for me, it's like I work really hard for people to like have that in-person experience. We spend enough time like virtually in 2020, like for me at least. We still do the virtual open mic, but instead of doing it every Friday, we do it once a month. And we take off on July and August. We take 2 months off, so it's not as like demanding. But yeah, no, I want people to be like, be there because like it's not just about that. It's like, come meet the other artists too. Like, trust me, everyone's dope. Everyone's like, I love seeing people like meet and vibe. And then the next thing I know, they're like collaborating together. I'll see them on a flyer together. I'll be like, yo, y'all met at my open mic.
I remember that.
I saw it here first, okay? Like I get really, really, really excited. Or it'll be like somebody will come to my open mic and be like, oh, this is my first time on, performing. and everybody be like, yay. And then like all of a sudden I'll see them at the next open mic and the other one over here. And I'll be like, look at you being outside. Like I get excited about that shit. So yeah, like I don't know.
Now you get the pump up.
Yeah,
you've
it
been
hypes
there.
me up.
You've been there. You know that experience is also something that has been a part of you and has been given to you by your mentors, right? By people that have been passed down.
Even barely, because I didn't have like a lot of mentors, you know. I had a few people that would give me advice here and there, but I never had somebody that was like what you would say, quote unquote, is a mentor.
As an artist, wouldn't you say that's the double-edged sword of it all, though?
You need a mentor.
Yeah.
You absolutely, yes, absolutely. Even me, like I consider myself a mentor because I work with people one-on-one, guiding them through whatever they need help with, social media, performance, artist development. I'm trying to be the person that I didn't have when I started doing this, you know, and a combination of the few people that I did have, you know. I'm trying to be that person for a lot of people, not just a handful. So I think everybody should have a mentor. Even a mentor should have anybody. Anybody want to mentor me? Hit me up. My crumble thoughts. I'm dead ass. I need a mentor. I feel like I'm at a point right now where like a lot of success and abundance is like flowing to me. It's all coming my way and I'm managing it, but it's like I'm at a point now where it's like I think I've reached the cap of like the level that I've been on for a while. And it's like I'm breaking through to the next level and I need a mentor to like
understand what's the next steps.
Walk me through that transition of this next level of artistry that I'm about to be in, because there's stuff that I'm dropping, there's projects that I'm working on that's going to take me to this next level, and I need a mentor to like really be there to like help me.
They say they come at the perfect time, so I'm sure
we'll see. Maybe I'll walk outside right now and the guy will be like, hey, are you looking for a mentor? Because I do that.
Well, what would be the ideal mentor for you? Because, like, I mean, you definitely would want that person to be in a better position than you are in, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, a mentor.
And in the field that you're in.
Yes, and that's exactly an ideal mentor is. Right. Somebody who is very successful in something that you want to be very successful in.
So, you know, just hypothetically speaking, who would you love for you to be your mentor in today's society?
Oh, my gosh. Huh. That's a really good question.
I love how fascinated you are with my questions. You feel like...
Because, you know, I mean, yeah, that's a really good question.
So, yeah, podcast, you heard.
Who would I want to mentor me? I would want 2 mentors.
A man and a woman?
A man and a woman. One person is Jive Poetic, who is the New Yorican Friday Night Slam host. He's been hosting that for a long time. It's the longest running slam at New Yorican. New Yorican's been around for over 50 years. Yeah. I'm actually hosting their Wednesday night slams now. Hey. I just made that announcement. I'm really excited about that. Thank you. But I really admire him. He's been in the game for a minute. He's an exceptional writer and performer. Great host, DJ. Like, he's so multifaceted. But he knows the game from a business aspect, from an educational aspect, and from an artistic aspect. And I think that him being really good and successful in all those vantage points, I would love to learn from him more. So, hey Jive, if you're watching this,
shout out Jive.
He knows. I've definitely, asked, if that's something that he would have space for. So, we're working on that. But yeah, he's somebody that I really admire. And the woman, I don't know, probably Queen Sheba or or Mahogany Brown. You know,
Why?
they're extremely successful at what they do as poets, as hosts, as writers, educators. You know, they all of them are amazing people, and you know, they've all make a good living traveling the world. Like I want to do that. I want to be in like Sri Lanka doing my poetry. Like I want to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And they've all done that. You know, all three of them. So if I could have like a
so they solidified themselves in a
panel.
career, and they're able to go anywhere with it, right?
Right,
And that's
right.
what you want to do.
And do it successfully as a business. You
Right.
know, none of them. I don't think any of them have a 9-to-5 job.
Mm.
You know what I mean? They all do this. You know, they're about this life.
Right.
You
They
know?
also, I feel like people, like I know people that have 9-to-5 jobs and they are, you know, juggling with everything else that they wanted to do.
Right.
And it's challenging, you know?
For
but
real.
It is. It's real. The transition, and it sounds like you're in that transition. It sounds like you're stepping into a space that you're going to be in full control of. Because, you know, what a lot of people don't understand is that, okay, yeah, you're being liberated from all these weights that society puts on you, but you're also putting your own weights on you because everything's going to be put on you.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm here. I'm there. I've been there already.
Right.
I haven't worked for someone else for years. And, you know, I've helped build companies from scratch for other people, like when I was doing HR work. And what I learned from that was, like, why the fuck am I putting all this work, like blood, sweat, and tears, like first one in the office, last one out of the office. Like, I'm literally, like, killing myself to help this other person become really fucking successful, very wealthy, drive nice cars, have boats, nice house, and I'm putting all this work in. That's fucking crazy. I will never do that shit again. If I'm gonna do that much work and lose sleep and sacrifice time with my family and do all that other shit, I'm gonna do it for myself, where I can be really successful and create a legacy for my family. You know, create generational wealth for my family. Like, do better for them, not for some fucking white guy that, you know, wants to buy the latest Bentley and needs sales to go up.
It's a nice Bentley, though. Have you seen it?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna buy that shit myself. You ain't buying that shit off
You
of
know,
my
bro,
fucking
but I'm serious.
back.
That blue, that's a nice.
Not off of my back.
You heard? But I feel like there's also something good though to learn about working, right? Because there's some people that they don't like get it either to work.
No,
you know? And that's a whole other layer of nonsense,
that
right?
part.
Yeah. So like you have to get some type of balance with it all, you know? Especially, I'm sure, you know, you want to build a legacy for your family and everything, but I'm sure you don't want your kids to be the kids that you didn't like growing up because they were fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, not at all. No way.
It's a wild balancing act.
It is. You know, and I don't knock anybody that has a 9-to-5 because if nobody had a 9-to-5, this world would not be able to operate. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go get some food. Somebody got to work over there. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, for me, it's not for me. You know what I mean? For me, I'd rather help, if I'm going to help other people be successful, like, it's going to be because we're working on being successful together.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like I'm your employee and, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't like that for myself.
You have a give and take.
Yeah,
and
you know.
You set your boundaries. You're at a point in your life where you're comfortable with creating your own decisions, making your own decisions.
Right. I like being my own boss.
Yeah.
You know, I like being able to be like, no, I can't do that Tuesday. I have a meeting. Like, I like running my own, you know, show like that, you know. And I guess also I experienced a lot of trauma in the workplace. You know what I mean? Especially working in like a male-dominated environment. It was hard, and like I don't want to go back to working for people that
You
treat
want to talk
me
about
like
it?
shit. I don't think I can.
Oh, word? Legally? Legally? I ain't letting you say script. What is a place that you would be excited to perform at and why? You know, you say Sri Lanka, you say these places, but like, why that place?
Oh, man. I mean, other than like just anywhere in the world, you know, outside of the United States is exciting. But like, I mean, maybe like, I don't know if necessarily a place, but I would love to perform in front of like thousands of people. You know, I think one of the biggest audience I've had was like 300, 350. I would love to be like in a stadium full of like 25,000 people, you know? And, you know, like Madison Square Garden or like some Coachella shit, you know? Like, I would love to do that.
Is there possibly a poem that you could share
Oh.
on the pod?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so I mean...
What kind of vibe you looking for?
Look, any vibe you want to give out, you know what I'm saying? If you want to make me laugh, that's awesome. If you want to share a story, that's cool. If you want to spit some game, that's great. You know what I mean? Like whatever you want to do, you can do.
Okay.
The floor is yours. I can even get you a mic if you want to feel like.
It's okay. It's okay. I spit my poetry anywhere. However, I don't need a mic. I'm here for it. I'm about this poetry life. All right, so I'll do a poem about what it's like to be loved by me, since you asked me about, you know, what a guy got to do to to take me out.
You gotta step up, yo.
Step your game up.
Step your game up. You know what I'm saying?
With your what are you doing?
Don't do that.
If I get another what are you doing and what's your favorite color, I'm gonna block your ass.
Set up the date properly. You know, start to finish. Give yourself a date. You know. Not just one thing, you know?
He's listening. All right, cool. Yes, I'll spit this for you. It's always wild to me when they ask, how am I still single? As if I'm the personification of all that glitters ain't gold. As if beneath the surface there's soil too toxic to plant roots so bold. But that's far from the truth. I'm single because I know how potent my love is. And I have yet to meet someone worthy of that addiction. See, my love pumps like written storms in veins. It's nonfiction. And most men don't have enough heart to hold this much magic. They lack diction. They'd rather step to me because all they see is my body, only to find out that this vessel carries the soul of a divine goddess, and she's not here to play games. I need that divine masculine claim to connect on the same frequency, and only then can he receive my love frequently. See, I've only got time for growth, so he's got to be willing to pour into me. And reciprocity is key, but he's got to unlock his energy so he can get the overflow of this energy. And I know nobody's perfect, but balance is important. A prototypical blend of needed and chosen, because although my love is healing, it's not meant for the broken. My love ain't Mrs. Fix-It, it just fits in. Like his favorite hoodie when that crisp fall air starts to slip in. My love be warmth. It be the difference. Subtracting issues from trust and summing things up like addition. And I know that didn't follow PEMDA's, but my love doesn't follow the rules anyway, so fuck it. My love be spiritual. It be knees on pews. It be lips pouring answered prayers against pressed palms. It's the peace you feel when sage starts to burn. It calms and it cleanses. It speaks more than 5 love languages with more than 5 senses. My love be shelter from storms. Familiar when everything feels foreign. My love be home. But not the dysfunctional one most of us grew up in, nah. It's the one that holds no space for generational curses, where we treat our love like sacred verses and not a verses. My love be Fingertips playing in his beard while he listens to the poems beating in my chest. It takes doubts to the bedroom just to lay them to rest. It be cooking lunch in his t-shirt while he's still tasting breakfast on his breath. Like the sweet honey dripping from my depths, my love be blessed. It be fire to icebox, melting away glaciers of past lovers' cold shoulders. It be shoulder to cry on, back to rely on. My love be the belt that keeps Orion hunting the night skies. The gravitational pull that tethers his sun to my moon like perennial soul ties. My love be celestial. It be stars skipping across time and space like the heartbeats of extraterrestrials. Loving beyond the outer limits of anything conventional. My love be transformational. A never-ending Tuesday. Shit, because even a day of the week ain't a day for the week, so my love stands strong in the face of defeat. So to any single men out there, before you shoot your shot and try to latch me down, let me give you this disclosure. Now that you've seen the light of my love like exposure, I ask you to develop understanding that this is also the type of love that I want and deserve without demanding. So your intentions better be aligned, because this queen only got time for a king. That's my piece.
Wow. Hell yeah. That was
Thank
amazing.
you.
That was fucking amazing.
Thank
That was
you.
awesome.
Thank you
Seriously,
so much.
I love how you play around, and it kind of brings back this whole conversation, because you play around with being, like, you get serious, but then you get playful.
Yeah.
But then even in that playful, it's still, like...
There's something to say.
Yeah, it's stationed. It's stationed. It has a direction, rather.
Right.
Thank
you.
Yeah, that was amazing. Hell yeah. And at the same time, I'm like listening to you, and I'm seeing pictures.
Right.
I'm
I love that.
I'm
Yes.
seeing pictures.
Yes. That's how I write. I write like I'm describing pictures. Like I'm trying to paint a picture with words. That's
the experience aspect of it, right?
Right.
That's what kind of gives it the movie.
Right. The movie, the sensory details, you know, all that.
Would you ever do like voice acting? Are you interested of using your voice in other ways beyond poetry?
I would love to explore other ways to use my voice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start or like what direction to go, but yeah, I would definitely, if like someone was to be like, hey, you should try this, you know, I'd be like, fuck it, let me give it a shot. You know?
I want to invite you to this thing on May 13th. By the time this gets released, it would be past that, I think.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. If you want to come, it would be cool.
Okay.
My friend Angel from Angel Words podcast.
Oh, yeah.
He's really, really dope. He's shooting a movie trailer for this writer because he really believes in him. Of this script that's called Off the Wall, and basically it's about this kid who was a handball player. His friend dies, motivates him to become a tennis player.
Oh, wow.
And then goes into the Olympics.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it's like it happened in the 80s, and he thinks like, you know, this could be a big, big thing. So May 13th, they're going to be shooting at Astoria Park, and they need extras and stuff like that.
Send me
And
info.
yeah, if you want to come through, that'd be
Even if
cool.
I can't make it, I could send it to some other artists that may want to go too.
Word.
Like if they're looking, you know.
Hell yeah.
But send me the info for sure.
All right,
Yeah,
dope.
sounds good.
And where can the people find you? You're a dope individual that needs to
Outside.
be heard.
You could find me. I spend a lot of time on Instagram. That's my main platform. But on Instagram, TikTok, all that, it's My Crumbled Thoughts. My Crumbled Thoughts. And that's where everything is. You could check the link in my bio, and that has, you know, all the links to any events that we're doing or any places that I'm going to be featuring. I have a whole bunch of features coming up. One in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I have Philly. I have Atlanta on the schedule. So I'm going to be everywhere. So yeah, just stay tapped in. So you know where to find me. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
No
This was really
problem.
cool.
So yeah,
Great vibe.
You heard?
Yeah. Thank you.
A goal is It's the conversation. Yeah. Take your mind different places.